It means that this is a danger. These alerts, which are from the RCB, are issued in situations when there is a threat. Here we have a specific threat in the form of a man who is fleeing with a weapon, who previously shot and killed 2 people and seriously injured another, because for now this lady is alive, although her condition is serious. He shot or fired at a third person, so of course he is a suspect, he is dangerous, and we need to be careful with him. Although I would say that we have talked about these kinds of situations many times on the channel, these are family murder cases. Usually the situation that happens there lasts for years, months, or weeks. There is such a narrowing of perspective that the person doing this doesn't see anything else except that his family members are his enemies, at least in his mind. If he gets rid of them, if he kills them, then the problem will be solved. Of course, this is irrational, even absurd thinking, but that's how these people think. And I believe that in the case of this man who is being pursued today, that's exactly how it is. And we also know, because we've talked about this many times on the channel, in fact, today I commented on this on several TV stations and I talked about it. As a rule, that's how it is. A person who is running away is in a kind of frenzy. They're irrational in what they might do and what they actually do. This state usually lasts from a few hours to several dozen hours. It all depends on the person, on how they're wired. However, after some time, what he did will start to sink in. He will become aware of it. And you also have to take into account that usually, I would even say in 90% of cases, because someone asked me today, what percentage? Well, almost always, as I said, these cases end with the person simply going somewhere into the forest and committing suicide. Of course, there are exceptions. We remember Jaworek, but as a rule, that's exactly how it is. And well, we should assume that it might be the case in this situation. Because when that realization comes to him, and after all, this is a 57-year-old man who, until now, lived normally among other people, probably in his neighbor's eyes. It's a shock that he did this, that a person is not prepared for the fact that there will be a trial, that there will be a life sentence, in this case, that he will go to prison. He only just realized this. At this moment, he will become aware and will choose what he thinks is better for him, which simply means he will commit suicide. But we also can't rule out that he might look for some other solutions. I would say this. In the case of this man, the situation is particularly difficult because we know that he is a hunter. There are forests all around, and as a hunter, he has known that area for decades. It's simply like a second home for him, and he can just escape there. It can't be ruled out that there are still some objects there, for example, bunkers from World War II that he knows about, and that he will want to hide there, wait it out, some structures, and this could last for a longer time. I'm saying for now, for the police, searching in such a wooded area is like looking for a needle in a haystack, even though they're using tracking dogs. And a helicopter with a thermal imaging camera, for sure a large area is surrounded by police officers so that he doesn't slip out of the perimeter. We also know that for a while he was simply escaping by car, his own car. He abandoned that car, but again, we can't rule out that he switched to someone else's car, that someone is helping him, that he has an accomplice, whether it's a woman or a man, and he's just somewhere out there still. He's driving and trying to get through, or he could have just taken someone's car, stolen it. But here we would probably already know that a car was stolen in this area or that a driver was attacked. Alternatively, what I consider most likely is that he simply got out of the car and ran into the forest where he feels comfortable. But what I would say in general, because today I was also asked if he is dangerous, I would say he can be dangerous. For now, he has carried out what was going on in his head, and it was only in his head. So revenge, and he shot at, killed members of his family who, in his opinion, were standing in his way. However, it cannot be ruled out that if he has some plan, he will try to hide somewhere to break through. If someone stands in his way, tries to stop him, or if he wants to get, for example, food to enter someone's apartment, well, then of course he can be dangerous because today he has nothing left to lose. I would say this is a real concern, a threat to the people who live in the area. people whom he also knows in some way, because you can't rule out that he will try to reach someone he knows. And he will think that this person simply has to help him. The same goes for drivers traveling through the area. Well, you have to be on your guard. So, of course, any attempt to detain him, to stop, seize, or catch him, unless it happens that, for example, it's an armed police officer or soldier, well, then, of course, everything basically depends on his judgment. Absolutely. You must not take any actions on your own here, but you should inform the police as quickly as possible where he is, what he looks like, what he's doing. Well, of course, such information is extremely valuable.